Hello everybody, Reggie Time here again with my third video this week as I work on my video production skills. And today we're just playing a 2 table in 20 session on Sky Poker. And what I want to talk about mostly in this video is this is how I built my bankroll. Not necessarily 2 table in Sky Poker. We're playing low volume with the focus being primarily on being in good games where it's conceivable that we can have a double figure win rate. And by the way, I mean like 10 plus 10 through 12, who knows, maybe even 14 big blinds per 100. If we are being incredibly selective with the games that we choose to play. As I said, it's definitely how I built my roll. It's when we go back through time, I built my bankroll on Betfair and then on 888. And I was primarily 2 through 4 tabling, constantly cycling tables in and out, always making sure that I was at the best tables that I could find. The minute a table went sour, I left it. I know that kind of thing is frowned upon these days. It's considered bum hunting, call it what you will. A lot of people don't like it, but for me, poker is all about just stacking up some cash. And yeah, we need to be in games with worse players than us, and ideally we'd like to have position on them if we want to maximise our win rate and our edge at any one table or game or site, however you want to look at it. I do understand the argument of playing on tougher sites, crushing volume, and just generally improving your play, but I don't think if you do what I'm doing now, which is just 2 table, some soft games, I don't believe that actually hinders your progress too much. Sure, you're not going to be in as many tough spots as often, so you're not going to be as well practiced in some of the pre-flop wars that go on with regulars. But what you are going to get good practice in is extracting maximum value from weaker players, which, to be frank, is where nearly all of our profit comes from in poker. Of course, we can try and make some regulars our new fish, if you will. It was someone said that to me years ago, a player that I respect a lot. When I was complaining about game quality, he said you need to make the regulars your fish. I think that has a little bit of merit, but I don't think it's as easy as just making the regular into your fish. The thing with regulars is they don't screw up very often. The thing with people like, I mean, no offense to these guys here, but people like these 2 guys here, they screw up all the time, or not all the time, but very regularly. And I guess it depends what you want from poker. I guess, in my opinion, what most micro-stakes players want is something they can do recreationally for a little bit of fun, but also make a little bit of pocket money too. I don't think there's that many players playing, say, 5NL through 50NL that wouldn't be happy just making an extra, I don't know, £300-400 or maybe $600 per month from playing a game they enjoy. Not everybody wants or needs to be that mass tabling, super heavy grinder, making 20, 30, 40, $50 an hour. I think poker can be more than that to some people. My poker philosophy personally is I don't want to do poker full time. I have a job that I really enjoy. I like the fact that poker allows me to not do that job full time because I like having more time to have the life that I want to live. But I think it's important to have a job, the social aspects of having a job, your social well-being, your emotional well-being, being stuck in the house. Like I did do just poker for a while, a couple of years ago, and just being stuck in the house all day, grinding poker, talking to virtual friends on the internet. Yeah, you might think I want that now. When you live it, it's not for everybody, and I actually went out and got a job because I missed the social aspect of having a job. I missed getting out of the house more. I missed making new friends and all those things. So I think for a lot of people that watch this video and a lot of people who aspire to make some money at poker don't necessarily want to be professional poker players. They just want to be poker players who can make a little bit of money on the side of the day job. If that's you, then you don't need to be mass tabling. You don't need to be playing 8-10 tables for like 6-7 hours a day. You can just do this. You can 2 to 4 table, and what you can do because of that, because you're playing 2 to 4 tables, and you're going to be game selecting hard, you can take, excuse me, you can take a few more chances with your bankroll. For example, if you were mass tabling 25NL on poker stars or party poker, full tilt poker, something like that, you wouldn't want to do it off less than 50 buy-ins. If you want to just 2 table on a site like Stars, or let me just look at this for one moment. We have a min raise under the gun, we have a min 3 bet, so a small 3 bet. I'm just going to call here to keep this guy in the pot and see what happens on the flop. Now against 2 players, I'm not sure my equity is going to be that great, so I'm just going to fold. It's a pretty tight fold, and now obviously looking at that, I kind of wish I called, but I kind of thought I'm going to be up against at least 1 pocket pair, which I may or may not be better than, and 2 overcards. That was quite a nitty fold, but with not knowing anything about 2 players, and we've got a min raise under the gun and a 3 bet from the small blind, which is, people are usually going to be very close to the tops of the ranges there. I think it's fine to make a pretty tight fold with 2 jacks. Yeah, there's much more to say about that. I'm sure some people will think it's too tight, but I think stacking up for 50 blinds there with 2 jacks versus under the gun and small blind, I don't think it's going to show that much of a profit long term, if it's going to show any kind of profit at all. So yeah, getting back to my point of being able to be a little bit more aggressive with your bankroll management. If you are only going to be playing between 2 and 4 tables, and you're going to be game selecting aggressively, you can absolutely take a few more chances with your bankroll. Say you wanted to play a mix of £20 an L and £30 an L on Sky, and you're only going to be playing between 2 and 4 tables. I think you could do that off a bankroll of maybe £600, and never really have that much risk of ruin, because we can always move down quite quickly. We don't need as much money to cover the tables that we're playing, and yeah, I think we can just manage our poker and our finances pretty well doing that. Whereas obviously on a tougher site, where you're going to be playing with a low win rate and playing where you need more money to cover all the tables, obviously you couldn't get away with such a thing. I'm just going to bet my gut shot when this guy checks here. Don't expect him to have too much of a strong hand. When he check calls, I now have to decide whether to triple barrel or not, and I wouldn't have triple barreled had I not hit an open ender on the turn. Now I think we have not a very profitable, but a decently profitable second barrel here to get him off hands like ace high, some under pairs. There's lots of hands he can definitely fold there to 2 barrels. If I didn't hit the 10, I probably wouldn't have made the bet, but because my pot equity increased quite significantly on the 10, we need less fold equity to make the bet okay. So yeah, I'm fine with that there, but I wouldn't have barreled. I would have barreled a 6, obviously, because I would have had a straight, and I would have barreled the 10, and maybe a 9 or a 7. But that was it. I wasn't barreling anything else. I don't think this guy's big into folding. Just going to check that for 2 3s here, try and get to a cheap showdown. What we do need to consider here when we are playing against players we suspect to be we suspect to be bad. Is not to bluff too often and not to build too many big pots with hands that can't really continue too many ways. What you really want to be doing, especially against players that you don't really know very well, is just play a little bit tighter, a little bit more exploitively, high cards, pocket pairs, those type of things. They're the hands you want to be playing against bad players more. Less of the 6-5 suited. I'm going to go for a semi-bluff here once he checks. He called pretty quickly, which means he's either got a weak ace or some kind of pocket pair below the ace. I don't know enough about him. I'm not going to try and bluff the guy now. I'm just going to check back, and if he shows me a worse pair, then that pair that may have folded, I'm just going to deal with it. But I kind of thought when he checked snap to the turn there, he probably had a hand like that, or just a single club, which I may or may not be ahead of, or an under pair, and obviously beating his single clubs and not beating his ace-x and not beating his under pairs, and I'm not going to try and bluff somebody who I suspect might not be that into folding. This squeeze here, obviously on table 1 on the left hand side table. Declare, just seen him at a few tables this morning. We've been playing for maybe 20 minutes before I started the video. Pretty sure he's some kind of regular. I just reached a 64. I'm pretty sure he's some kind of weak player. I'm going to see bet here for very thin value. Oops, that was, do not want to be betting £220. I think I can definitely get called by worse hands here, even though I only have ace king high. That wasn't a bluff, that was definitely a value bet. I'm not particularly fond of Sky's software. I don't like the lack of a time bank. Don't like that. I don't like it to be clunky and messy. It's just not nice to play on. But if I can find enough good games here to give me what I need from poker, which is, you know, a nice side income of anywhere between £300 to £500 a month, I would happily play here. I'd have no problem playing here at all. I'm not sure I can get that from this site, but for the purposes of the video, I think it gives me an opportunity to talk about the things I want to talk about. I'm not going to fold to this guy here. I mean, he can have ace king, but he can have worse too. And unfortunately, he's flopped a set, and we're in the unfortunate position of drawing almost dead against a really bad player, which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, I'm not going to be too concerned about that. This is kind of the downside of when we're just playing 1 or 2 tables. If we run bad for say a couple of thousand, 3,000 hands, it can go on forever. It can feel like we're never going to come out of a bad run. It takes longer to get to the long term. And sometimes when you're running good and running hot, you can feel like the best player in the world. But when things aren't going your way, it's not too difficult to have your confidence not to start suffering quite a lot with accumulated tilt, because feels like you never know where your next win's coming from. So it certainly takes some different kind of like mental game. It certainly presents some different mental game problems. That's for sure. But these things happen less often because you're just in good games more. So you're just generally booking lots and lots of winning sessions most of the time. This boiler 8, he's certainly some kind of regular. And again, we just have a very, very mandatory stack off spot here. if he was to 5-bet shove. I guess the one good thing about Sky not having a time bank and having quite a vast time bank is when you are two-tabling, you certainly get a lot more hands per hour. It's a little bit irritating that it does make it a lot harder to have the third and the fourth table, because when we tile these tables, it looks hideous. It looks hideous, and yeah, it's not nice. It really isn't nice software. But that said, I'm going to 3-bet here because I don't particularly want to get squeezed by the unfortunately named Dick Large. Yeah, but it's the unfortunate side of it is it's horrible software for multi-tabling. I know there are some players on here who seem to manage to somehow. I mean, look at this. I've clicked this autofill button 4 times there, and it just decided not to let me click it. There are some players who somehow managed to achieve playing quite a lot of tables. I have no idea how to do it with the time bank and with the somewhat unresponsive software. I'm assuming they end up sitting out a lot and they're constantly sitting back in tables. If there are any Sky players watching this and they can give me some hints on how to make a slightly more pleasant multi-tabling experience, I would certainly be interested in hearing how you do it. 2 overs, 2 backdoors equals 1 c-bet for me on this board. And what I will be doing when I'm playing normally, and I'm not sure it's going to work too well on this video for how I've got the screen capture set up, is I will regularly be checking the lobby for better tables, if there are any. And there's a 30 in that table there that looks like it could be quite good. So what I would do now is I would normally, if I was playing a normal session, I would wait for my blind at this table and then sit out of this table whilst launching this table. Now it's going to look pretty hideous on this video as I do this. Just for a moment it's going to be like some horrible overlap, etc. But just for the time being, we'll just put up with it. I was going to sit that table, but now it looks like, and we can still sit it. I don't mind playing a little 3-handed. We're going to 3-bet the 2 jacks here. I'm going to give this right table up in the moment. Well, now I might not want to because, well, I've just been shoved on. Again, I feel like I'm paying off here a little bit, but I'm not prepared to fold. I mean, usually you're going to be giving too much value there to someone if it's like a regular just jamming range, I think. But yeah, but someone just overbet jams like that. A lot of any reads on the guy. I mean, he could be a nit that's only doing that with like really strong hands, or he could just be a fish that's doing it with 9-10 off. We don't know, but Jacks is just too strong to fold there, in my opinion. Although, you know, we are going to be behind or flipping quite a lot. It's a situation we don't really want to be in. As cash game players, we don't want to be taking too many flips. We want to be trying to get our money a little bit more sensible, a little bit more edged than just constantly taking flips. I know it's fine to take flips, there's no issue with taking flips, but when we're playing deep stacked poker, we kind of want to be trying to use our post-flop skill edge, not really be pushing thinnish pre-flop edges. So we'll stand up from this table now because I don't particularly want the video quality to be ruined by having this table constantly popping up and blocking the action. So as you can see, these tables, it is only 11 o'clock in the AM in the UK. So the traffic isn't that good on the site right now. Well, we just wanted to scrub that out. So traffic isn't that good. I expect the games to probably be pretty good in the evenings here. I expect them, if I just wanted to play, I'm just going to fault even this fish Texas line. No idea what's going on, but I have no reason to stay in the pot. But I expect if I only wanted to play between 2 and 4 tables in the peak time in the UK, I would have no problem meeting my volume goals. I'm just going to keep betting here against the fish on a wet board. Whether I want to continue playing on this site is very debatable. I don't know. I don't think I will, to be completely honest, but who knows? Who knows? I'm going to check here and probably just check forward when jackets. There's lots of ways that I can be beat. And not that many. I mean, there's ways I can be winning. I mean, some draws I've missed, but yeah, I'm just going to fold. That could be a tight fold. I'm not that fond of folding 2 pairs, but when I bet twice and somebody snaps twice, and then the most obvious draw hits, I don't really want the pot to be getting much bigger. And I think that when I check there, I think he can definitely check back. No, plenty. I don't think he's going to be turning made hands into bluffs very often there. I don't think, I mean, if he's going to bet a single ace there, I mean, more power to him. I don't think it's going to be happening too often. Oh, I actually have a note on this guy. I wonder what it says. Open limp, that should say, I guess. So he's capable of floating high cards on low boards. Still not really sure how to proceed here, so until I get a bit more information on the guy, I'm not going to be looking to play too many big pots with him. And just hope that he's the kind of guy that looks like he's going to be giving plenty of action, so I'm sure sooner rather than later we're going to be able to get to showdown with him and figure out a little bit more what's going on. And what I will do, another benefit of 2-tabling or 4-tabling, whatever you're doing, is you get to watch a lot of hands that you're not involved in and see how people get to showdown with all different parts, different kinds of lines that they take, which is really important, particularly if you're on a site where tracking software isn't freely available. Reads become even more important. So by extension of that, means paying attention becomes more important too. I've said this name before, this critique. I'm not sure if that means, I mean, I may remember it because the guy's a weak player, I may remember it because he's a strong player. I suspect it's more likely because he's a regular that I've seen around before. I have played in the Sky on and off here and now and then for years. Please excuse my horrendous screen name, by the way. I've had this Sky account ever since Sky Poker launched, when you first played it through your television set, believe it or not. So Sky Poker launched all the years ago. You actually played it through your interactive on television. And I created the account when I was very much a poker fish, and I wanted a gangsterish, a mafia-ish, whatever you call it, sounding screen name. It's really embarrassing to use this name on video now, but yeah, I'm kind of stuck with it. I have emailed Sky once and asked them if I could change it. They wouldn't allow it, which was a big shame because it is really quite an embarrassing screen name. But whatever, it's not the end of the world. what I will be looking for all new players like this critique. Skype Poker now does have an auto reload function. It never used to, but it does now. This critique doesn't appear to be using it. If he doesn't top up again after this, I'll be more inclined to expect him to be a non-regular. Let's put it that way. I mean, it seems unlikely to me there's going to be too many recreational players playing at this time of day on Sky, because it's just prime time working time in the UK. Of course, there are shift workers who will be on days off, people who are on holidays, so there will be some recreational players around. There's obviously going to be way less, but he hasn't reloaded again, so I think my memory of his name is probably just a mismemory. I think it's way more likely that he's just going to be some kind of an aggressive regular. Second time this Boyle has 3-bet me when I've opened small to big. I'm not going to 4-bet him again, but I am going to certainly bet him, and I might alter my opening ranges against him. If he wants to play Captain Aggro and Captain Loose, then I'll change my ranges against him, and hopefully it'll take him a while to adjust. So this guy again has gone for the 5x open. I 3-bet him last time, he should have gone with Ace Queen. He peeled me with 2 9s, and then he just limp around a lot too. So I'm going to give this a little bit more credit than I gave it last time, and see if we can flop something good. He checks, so I think his range is most likely going to be under pairs now, but there may well be under pairs that are still beating me. I don't think this is the sort of guy who's going to just check fold jacks or something like that here on this board. Who knows, he may also be, because he check raised his set earlier, although he was checking to the razor. He also might be the type of fish that likes to check raise his ace-x there too. And then when he bombs the turn, I'm just happy just to fold. Definitely in a no set, no bet situation there. No idea who TSOTM is, but I think 6i is going to play pretty badly in a 3-bet pot versus London. Well, Katiki has reloaded. So who knows? Who knows what sort of player you are, Katik. Certainly keep my eye on you. But this table's shaping up like it could be a good table. We have another player that's sat with less than 100 big blinds. We have Katiki, who we think may be a fish. Ross B, no idea. I'm going to see bet my 2 overs here and backdoor straight draws. Obviously going to fold if he raises. If he barrels, if he calls, I will barrel any card higher than a jack. 3 isn't a card that I'm going to be in a rush to barrel. Changes nothing. I don't pick up any fold equity. My pot equity has been significantly reduced, so yeah, we'll just check and hopefully get a free card. I don't expect to get one too often. Who knows? We might get one. We might even have the best hand. It's a shame the jacks come now. It would have been a card I would have barreled on the turn. But I don't expect this guy to fold a hand like 2 7s here if I bet again on the river. So I'm just going to check, and who knows, I might just win. He might just check back king queen here or something like that. And I did win. So let's see if we can pull the hand up and see what he turned up with. And he just had ace 4, which seems it wasn't one of the hands I put him on. I mean, I guess on the flop he had a backdoor flush draw and backdoor wheel draw, but I think most likely this guy's not going to be thinking that way. He hasn't reloaded. He's probably just someone who just didn't want to fold for one c-bet. You see that quite a lot from weaker players, obviously, and Boyle has 3-bet me again. It's the third time he's 3-bet me. We obviously we have a hard time giving people credit when they excuse me, when they're constantly 3-betting and we steal spots. And I think I definitely will now be tightening up my opening ranges and just not giving too much, because he's obviously going to be this kind of guy who likes to play the pre-flop wars, which is fine. I mean, it's not my cup of tea really. I mean, I think his primary focus should be on getting in hands against the bad players out at the table, but if he wants to mess with me, it's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I'll just tighten my ranges up slightly and just start playing more hands that I'm going to be at 4-bet versus him. So less of the 7-6, more of the King, Queen, Ace, Jack, Ace, Queen type hands that I'd be probably pretty comfortable 4-betting versus somebody who I expect is 3-betting too often. I mean, maybe he's just had 3 hands, who knows. But the one time we did 4-bet him, he folded pretty quickly. So at the moment, my suspicion is that he probably gets out of line. I'm going to be finishing this video shortly because I am just doing a bunch of short videos this week to get feedback on the different ones I've done. To me so far, I've done a 4-table and snap video. I've done a 4. I'm getting kind of slower as the week goes on. There's a 4-table in regular table video. Now I'm doing a 2-table in regular table video, which doesn't feel like it's been too slow because his min raise before declines, now he's 3x, which might mean his range is a bit stronger, so he's going to fold the Queen 10. But yeah, now I'm doing a 2-table video on Sky. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for tomorrow's video just yet. I may do I think I don't particularly want to do a 2-table in snap poker video on 888 because I've done a million of them, so I kind of know what people think of them already. I may see if I can find one of my students who wants to do a video review session with me, which will be a lot longer video because that'll be at least 45 minutes, but I think it might be a nice way to round off my week of doing different video formats to see what people like and what they don't like. So yeah, I think I'm going to continue this session because I've got nothing better to do this morning. And I think I've got some good tables, and I just want to kind of continue exploring Sky a little bit more. But I think for this video, I'm just going to call it a day now. And just if you have got this far in it, I really would appreciate your feedback on the like I have the rest of the week. The video quality, the audio quality, the pace of the video has it been a good pace? Has it been a little bit too slow? When I've been filling in between hands with my opinions on various things, has that been useful? Has it been a little bit rambly? Just those kind of things. Any feedback, just give me your thoughts on what you've seen and what you've heard. Try and be kind, but if you have to say something that isn't really complimentary, I understand. I mean, when you're asking and courting for constructive criticism, you have to accept that sometimes it's not always going to be what you want to hear. But for now, thanks again for watching. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Until then, be lucky and take care.